Overseas, Washington's decision to supply Ukraine with cluster bombs has raised concern among its allies, including Britain. The weapons could be key to Ukraine's counteroffensive, and it marked 500 days since the Russian invasion. Raymond Young reports.
As Volodymyr Zelensky wrapped up his short visit to Turkey, the Ukrainian president went home with a few more passengers on his plane. In a mute video published by his office, Zelensky was seen exchanging hugs and greetings with Ukrainian commanders at the tarmac of an airport in Istanbul. The 5 men were part of more than 2,000 people who surrendered at the port city of Mariupol last year, following a prolonged battle with Russian forces at the Azovstal steel plant. Some of them were freed in a prisoner exchange last September, but as part of the deal, they had to remain in Turkey until the war ended. Their sudden release angered Moscow, which said it had not been informed by Ankara beforehand. The commanders were then flown to Lviv, where they reunited with family members while receiving a military guard of honor.
Slava Ukraini!
Zelensky described the men as heroes and applauded their bravery in defending Mariupol. In another video to mark 500 days since the Russian invasion began, the president was filmed paying a visit to Snake Island. The tiny island was captured by Moscow in the early days of the war, before Ukraine regained control. Zelensky said the island is proof that Ukraine will eventually reclaim every part of its lost territory. The United States is helping that cause by providing another $800 million of military aid package. But among the latest delivery are cluster bombs, a controversial weapon which could inflict massive damage to civilians even long after the war ended. The munitions are banned by more than 100 countries, including Britain.
The UK is signatory to a convention which prohibits the production or use of cluster munitions and discourages their use. We will continue to do our part to support Ukraine against Russia's illegal and unprovoked invasion. We've done that by providing heavy battle tanks and most recently long-range weapons.
Sunak will be meeting US President Joe Biden, who was seen relaxing on a beach in Delaware ahead of a trip to Europe. Raymond Young, HKIBC.